Hey everyone! Let's just forget this school bus for a second. Have you ever wondered what it would be like if your morning commute meant soaring through the clouds? Well, today we're diving into that simple but super exciting question. What if you could actually fly to school? I mean, seriously, just picture that for a moment. No more traffic jams, no more waiting for a crowded bus, and definitely no more being late because you missed your ride. It would just be you, your backpack, and that wide open sky every single morning. Okay, so here's the scene. Your alarm goes off, you get all ready, but instead of heading for the front door, you just walk over to your window, slide it open, and whoosh, you launch right into the air, zipping over rooftops on your way to class. But a commute like this, it's going to require some special gear. It's not quite as simple as just jumping out the window. So, what would you even need to wear for a daily flight like this? Well, first things first, your clothes. You can't just fly in your regular old t-shirt. We're talking about special, lightweight flight suits, designed to be totally aerodynamic so you can slice through the air without anything slowing you down. And here's the really cool part, how you'd get around. Would you strap on a sleek little jetpack? Or maybe you'd have a pair of high-tech mechanical wings. Either way, it's a major upgrade from walking, right? But you gotta be practical too. You would absolutely need some protective goggles. When you're flying fast, you have to keep the wind, dust, and maybe the occasional bug out of your eyes. And probably the single most crucial piece of gear? A helmet. I mean, just like riding a bike or a scooter, safety's gotta come first. So a good helmet would be completely non-negotiable. So, what about your backpack? You can't have textbooks just raining down on the neighborhood. Your bag would need some ultra-strong straps. Or hey, maybe it would even have its own little wings for stability, or use powerful magnets to lock right onto your flight suit. Okay, so you're all geared up and ready to fly. But here's the thing, you wouldn't be alone up there. With thousands of other kids flying to school at the exact same time, you'd need some serious rules for the open sky. To keep things from getting totally chaotic, you'd basically need a highway system, but for the clouds. This would mean strict speed limits, rules about keeping a safe distance from other flyers, and designated sky lanes. And a brand new rule of the road, watch out for birds. You're flying in their world now, after all. Our world would have to adapt in other wild ways too. To handle busy intersections, can you just picture it? Giant, floating traffic lights just hovering in the air, telling you when it's safe to cross a major sky route. Now, this all sounds pretty perfect on a bright sunny day, but let's be real for a second. What happens when the forecast calls for rain, or even worse, snow? Yeah, flying in bad weather would be a huge challenge. Heavy rain, you'd be soaked in seconds. Strong winds could blow you miles off course. And trying to fly through a snowstorm, that just sounds cold, dangerous, and pretty much impossible. But hey, people are creative. We'd probably invent some amazing solutions, like these personal flying umbrellas that create a force field against the rain, or maybe fully enclosed heated weather suits for those freezing cold snow days. So, you've navigated the traffic, you've survived the weather, and you're finally getting close to your destination. What would a school built for flying students even look like? School buildings would be completely revolutionized. Maybe schools would be built right on top of the tallest skyscrapers for easy access. Or even crazier, some could be these massive floating platforms held up in the clouds. And forget parking lots. Schools would have special cushioned landing zones. And okay, can we just stop and think about how awesome recess would be? You could play a three-dimensional game of flying tag, have high-speed races around the school, or practice some daring loop-the-loops with your friends. Gym class would be totally redefined. Imagine three-dimensional sports. This new world would bring a whole new set of hilarious everyday problems. Imagine a little mid-air fender bender with a friend. Or the ultimate excuse. A huge gust of wind blew my homework away. A really big sneeze could send you flying backward. And if you got tired, you might need to find an official rest cloud just to take a break. When you really zoom out and think about it, this isn't just about the commute. This would be a fundamental change to our lives, turning every single day into a sky-high adventure. And you know what? Not everyone would fly the same way. You totally have the Zoomers, the kids always trying to get to school first. Then you'd see the steady cruisers, just kind of taking their time and enjoying the view. You'd definitely have the tricksters showing off their spins and flips. And of course, you'd have the learners still getting the hang of it, probably with a flight instructor. Now, with all this happening in the air, safety would be everything. You'd probably have flying teachers, or even a dedicated sky police force patrolling around to make sure everyone's flying responsibly. And there would have to be floating emergency landing zones scattered all over the city, just in case someone's jetpack ran out of juice. So, what's the big takeaway here? Flying to school would be this incredible mix of feelings. It'd be super fast, unbelievably fun, and yeah, maybe a little bit dangerous. But more than anything, it would just be a totally amazing way to start your day. It would completely transform the ordinary school day into an extraordinary adventure. And that really leaves us with one last question for you to think about. If you had the choice tomorrow morning, would you trade in that bus pass for your very own pair of wings?